You ever come back from vacation and find your life turned into a circus overnight? I mean, you leave for a week thinking the worst thing that could happen is maybe a raccoon gets into your trash. Next thing you know, your family's old cabin has been hijacked for a full-blown wedding, strangers everywhere, cars parked all over your land, and the so-called queen of the local HOA strutting around with a clipboard like she's hosting the Oscars. Yeah, that happened. And it gets wilder. Let me back up a sec. My cabin isn't some creepy horror movie shack in the woods. It's just a simple, sturdy getaway, modern enough for comfort, but rustic enough that you remember you're not in the city anymore. My folks owned it before me, and there's before them. No one lives there year-round, but it's mine. I spend weekends and holidays out there because city living drives me nuts. It's my escape, my real home, and, most importantly, it's outside the clutches of any HOA. Or so I thought. Now, about Karen. Yeah, let's just call her Karen for the sake of every universal headache. She's on the board of the HOA next door, but she acts like property lines are just suggestions. Always bossing people around, inventing rules, making herself the main character in everyone's life but her own. I try to avoid her, but this time, fate, or bad luck, put us on a collision course. So I'm pulling up after a week away, expecting nothing more than some dust and peace. But what do I see? Pink. Everywhere. Ribbons, tablecloths. Even the cars look like someone ran them through a cotton candy machine. And in the middle of all this mess, Karen, barking orders, clipboard in hand. Vendors hauling flowers, a DJ unloading speakers, caterers running in circles. For a split second, I think maybe I'm in the wrong timeline. Before I even open my mouth, Karen spots me and launches into her performance. Excuse me, what are you doing here? Like I'm the party crasher on my own land. When I ask what's going on, she waves her clipboard and claims she reserved my cabin for a 100-guest wedding and I need to leave before the guests show. I can't help but laugh. It's just so bold it's almost impressive. I tell her straight up, this is private property. She claims to have permission from the real owner and mumbles about permits, but won't actually show me a thing. When I call her bluff, she dials 911 and tells the cops I'm a trespasser. She really leaned into the drama, even said I looked dangerous. That's how sure she was of her own power. Meanwhile, guests start arriving, vendors are getting nervous, and a few folks are starting to whisper. Some genuinely believe Karen's story, until I pull out the deed and my ID. Vendors quickly switch sides, packing up their stuff, not wanting any part of this madness. Karen, though, doubles down, shrieking that I'm squatting on an HOA cabin. One thing about people like that, they don't let go, even when reality's smacking them in the face. Cops roll up, and Karen practically throws herself at them, shouting about imposters and trespassers. I hand over my ID, deed, everything, calm as can be. The officers, to their credit, get the facts straight quick, and with a few sharp words, clear everyone out. Karen could have taken her citation and slinked away, but nope. She cranks the volume up, rants about her approved wedding, and how the bride will be heartbroken. Cops warn her again, but she keeps going until, yep, they put her in cuffs and cart her off. The Energizer Bunny's got nothing on her. Vendors come back, pack up what's left, muttering about Karen refusing to pay. Turns out the bride was her niece, who, thank God, never showed up. The fallout? Delicious. Neighbors talking, vendors apologizing to me, everyone pointing fingers at Karen, who's now got a police report to add to her collection. The best part? The HOA never bothered me again. Guess it finally clicked that my cabin wasn't part of their kingdom. And you know what? If someone ever tries to turn your property into a wedding venue without asking, what would you do? Would you go nuclear or just let it play out? Drop your answer down below. I'm dying to know. But hey, if you thought that was wild, here's a different flavor of chaos, corporate life, and the petty wars of office security. I spent years in computer security, where the golden rule is, lock your computer when you leave your desk, no matter what. Forget to lock it? Someone might prank you by sending a goofy email from your account. It's all in good fun, a way to shame you into remembering before HR gets involved. Then one day, a new guy rolls in, thinks he's above the rules, leaves his computer open, laughs off every warning, and dares the team to do something about it. So, instead of playing the prank game, I go by the book. Every single time his computer is left unlocked, I file a security ticket. Not just me, But the whole team joins in. By the end of the week, the new guy's buried in violation reports, sitting through endless retraining, and glaring at me like I invented the policy myself. Manager tries to get me to back off, but I just smile and say, sorry, just following procedure. Next thing you know, the newbie's up for disciplinary action, gets put on a performance plan, and is out the door in a week. Look, nobody wanted to ruin his career, but if you can't follow the simplest rule in a security office, maybe that's just how the cookie crumbles. And yeah, have you ever served up a little malicious compliance in your own life? I want to hear your best stories. Trust me, these things are universal. All right, now let's get back to the neighborhood zoo. You ever had those neighbors, the ones with 3 dogs that bark at clouds, the mailman, their own shadows? I try my best to keep the peace. My yard's fenced, my dog's trained, and I even plant bushes to keep the neighbor's psycho mutt from breaking through. Still, it's like living next to a kennel at rush hour. After spending a small fortune on fences and boxwoods that do nothing, I send a polite text. Hey, maybe keep your dog from attacking my fence? Their reply? Victim Olympics. Suddenly I'm the villain. Their week is ruined, and I owe them an apology. They build an illegal fence, let their dogs run loose, and cuss me out when their dog goes berserk. So I install cameras, collect evidence, and loop in the police. The community leader joins in. People start talking, and before long, the neighborhood knows exactly who's to blame for the mess and the mystery piles of dog poop. There's power in numbers. Sometimes all it takes is a little daylight to scare off the cockroaches. Now for the big one. I used to trade stocks for a living, made enough to retire early, and decided the city life wasn't for me anymore. I moved out, got my dream dog, and tried to ignore the fact that my new peaceful neighborhood had an HOA. At first, it didn't seem so bad, just a few fees for a nice lawn. But then the fines started rolling in. Not enough green grass, dogs too happy, cars an inch too close to the sidewalk. Anything they could slap a fee on, they did. I try to talk sense into them, but you know how it goes. Power trippers got a trip. So instead of fighting one-on-one, I start thinking bigger. The neighborhood's still got lots of unsold properties. I ask my agent, and yeah, if I buy enough of them, I can outvote the entire board. So I do it. Quietly, under a company name, so no one sees it coming. Next HOA meeting, I call for a vote to dissolve the whole thing. They laugh, until I show them the paperwork, and suddenly I'm holding all the cards. Just like that, every fine is gone, the HOA is history, and people can finally breathe again. The board is left sputtering and threatening lawsuits that never come. I sell the extra properties at cost, didn't care about making money, just wanted to set folks free from the nonsense. And the neighborhood? Happier than ever. No more HOA pamphlets celebrating imaginary achievements. Want one last laugh? I used to work at Hooters, back when the pranks were as greasy as the chicken wings. One day, I whip up a batch of fake brownies made from fryer flour and leave them out for the cereal lunch thief. Sure enough, the office food bandit takes a bite and loses her mind. She complains to management, but when the truth comes out, she's the one who gets written up. Food never went missing again after that. So that's my week in the American jungle. Weddings gone rogue, office politics gone sideways, dogs gone wild, and one HOA taken down by good old-fashioned stubbornness. But I gotta ask, what would you have done in my shoes? Would you have gone even further? And where do you draw the line between standing your ground and letting things go? Drop your thoughts below, especially if you've got an HOA horror story or a revenge tale of your own. And hey, if you got a laugh or a little justice out of this, hit that like button and let's keep the conversation rolling. Who knows, maybe next time the raccoon really will get the last word.